my own experience with clubbing, partying, and just nightlife in general. See, right now, I am the ripe old age of 33, and I have not really gone out clubbing unless it's been for a concert or some sort of festival. Outside of that, for many years, I don't even remember the last time I actually went to a club. Yeah, it's hard to remember. Back in when I was in my early 20s, I used to go out almost every week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like sometimes I would even go out in the middle of the week, like a Tuesday or Wednesday. And I've talked about this on my podcast in the past, but I know that was more for like the dating game and like how I used to go out. I read the game and I used to kind of do that pickup artistry stuff, which I know is completely wrong nowadays, but it's something that was, you know, somewhat fine. I mean, there was some terrible people in the industry, but there were people who really were not terrible, who were just really trying to help guys get laid or get a girlfriend or whatever the case may be. I stopped going out, I stopped partying, I stopped clubbing. It's partially, it's helped me with stopping the drinking. If you saw my year anniversary video or my video on why I stopped drinking in general. Some people legitimately just want to have a good time with their friends, although I have arguments for that because there's so much more you can do than just go out clubbing and drinking. But I digress. Everyone's different, to each his own. But if that's something you're trying to get out of and you're trying to find a new network of friends that don't do that, come to the right place. But I grew up I'm Latino, so I grew up in a very, very party centric family where we would have house parties almost every month. There was always someone's birthday. I have a big family. There was always someone's birthday. If it wasn't for that, it was for a holiday. So, I have a cousin that's a DJ. So she used to DJ all our house parties. And eventually she started to spread out and party at, like, people you would hire her to DJ at their parties, their Sweet 16s, eventually clubs and things like that. And she would basically hire me to go with her and support her with her equipment, like picking it up, unboxing everything, setting it up, and then putting it back in the truck that she used to rent, like a U-Haul. I was already going out to these clubs and things like that at like 14, 13, 14. I would get in because back in the day, I mean, not a lot of people cared as much. It's just like, hey, I'm the helper. And then I would be behind a booth while my cousin's DJing at all kinds of clubs. I've been at that age. I have been to gay clubs in New York City. I have been to regular clubs, and I mean, it's not right, but some of the friends that she would invite to these parties, obviously she was the DJ, she would invite friends, they would all go in and support her and things like that. But they would sneak me a little sips of drinks here and there. So I was already drinking at an early age. I mean, everyone does it. I mean, who doesn't at this point? But I had been partying a lot in my early teens. And as I got into my early 20s, I really started to branch out and go out to party on my own. Not necessarily to party and club and all that, but to meet women. And at first, I had no goal. I was just kind of doing it to get better at approaching, to get better at dealing with rejection. I was doing it for myself. The after effects of being successful and doing it right meant I would get laid, which was obviously a great motivator. But for the most part, it was for me to grow, for me to move out of my introverted self who would stay home and play video games all the time to my extroverted self. Over time, I started to feel weird being in a club. As I started to go into my late 20s and after my time in China, which I partied a lot in China, those people know how to party, by the way, especially Hong Kong. I noticed that it became less desirable. I just couldn't do it anymore. I would feel uncomfortable. I would try to dance. No one cares about you, right? They all care about themselves, but like I would think of, oh, who's watching me if I'm dancing or whatever the case may be, or like if I decide to approach a woman, it's Me Too era. Like if I decided to say hi to someone, male or female, I was like, what if they say I'm bothering them? That fear started to set in. I just made a video on fear, and the fear started to come me. I started to go out with friends, and it just didn't feel the same. Drinking got very expensive, especially in New York City, California. Like a single drink will cost you anywhere from $8 for a beer and if you want a cocktail, you're spending $17-18 sometimes upwards. depending on where you are, it adds up. One drink is never enough. You usually get 2, 3, 4, sometimes more. Not only that, but then you go out to eat after. There's all these other costs that are associated with it. And as a young 20-year-old man, like, I didn't have that kind of money. So, it just started to dawn on me that maybe I'm growing out of this. I had done it for my youth for so long that I think I just got tired. And most people don't do that, right? They don't have the same lifestyle as me. They may not have the same culture and grew up in a bunch of house parties. Here, I was with a family member the other day who met his wife on a dating app 7 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. And they're married with a kid now in a beautiful home. And I'm like, oh, that's beautiful, actually. Didn't meet in a club, didn't meet on the street. More and more people are meeting online. I hear less and less people are meeting through other means, whether that's like, oh, he approached me in a Whole Foods, or he approached me in a Barnes and Nobles. That's actually where I used to go out to approach women back in the day. Or we met at a club. Last time I was in a club, I just felt this darkness, and I just felt that it was not the right place for me to be. And I just felt that everyone was there for something. They were either there for something or escaping something. At least that's what I gathered through, I don't know, intuition that I've built over the years, and this sort of sadness that exists. These desperate men who are vying for women, paying hundreds of dollars for a bottle that you can get at a 7-Eleven for 400% down. You're literally spending 400% more in a club setting. You're paying for a table, and then people just take advantage of you because you have this status. And I know the nightlife is really built on women. They make it run. If all the women left, nightlife would not exist. Maybe for gay men, but if you're a straight male, nightlife would not exist because women make that world go round. I think most clubs, growing up, I would go to clubs where women were always free and men would have to pay an entry fee of anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks. So for me, it became too expensive. It became like cost benefit became less and less. So I stopped. I still think it's pretty stupid to this day. Not saying that I don't go out and have a good time. I do, except I choose to go to a festival. I only choose it because it's the music that I love. I'm dancing, I'm having a good time. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'm not there to meet people. If I make friends, great. If I don't, great. I'm usually going with a person or a group of people. Last concert I went to was to see Cascade on New Year's into 2023 at the Bill Graham Theater in San Francisco, and that was an amazing experience. I haven't been to any this year due to a layoff and really focusing on my creative aspects. But yeah, like that's what it's come down to. Clubbing is not, and partying is not what it used to be, for me at least. I wonder if you feel the same way. I'd love to hear from you. Comment below. Let me know. What's partying, clubbing mean to you? Is it to escape? Is it to actually go and have fun? Or maybe you don't even know. What is it? Until tomorrow.